Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the closing session, and thank you for having attended this convention and in your second home, Latvia. I would like first to apologize for the Honorable Mr. Uldis Dubrikis, Vice Chairman of Latvian Parliamentary Support Group for Tibet, for not being able to attend, and invite the Member of Parliament of Chile, Mr. Verdugo, to say a few words. Please.
Thank you. Hello. This December, the UN Global Conference of Climate, COP25, will take place in Chile, you know. Together with the Tibet Policy Institute, with Mr. Tempa, we are organizing a panel discussion session in parallel event. In case you, another member of parliament, are traveling to Chile and attend to event, please take contact us. Mr. Templa, please.
I'm really happy that I met Honorable Mr. Vilado Mirosevic, from a member of parliament from Chile, because we really needed a local support for the COP25 side event, and we are happy that he very kindly promised full support. So I want to thank him, and also, as he said, any of the parliamentarians coming to the COP25, please contact us or support us in whatever way possible. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite the chief guest, Honorable Andrius Nivikas, Member of Parliament of Lithuania.
Thank you very much. Good morning for everybody. Yanis said that I have to talk for an hour. Yeah, because he said you, you want a long speeches. And he said that I had to talk an hour about how beautiful is Latvia. And of course, I think that Latvia is very beautiful, and I think that Riga is very beautiful. I think that this convention was very good, and our final statement is, I think, very adequate. And for me, it's very important that now I have more friends than before the convent, but the problem is that I want very much home. So, and all my thoughts is about elections in Vilnius, is more about home, so I will speak very briefly. So I want to thank you, everybody, to be here. And I think that for me it's important that this convention convinced me that there are no small nations. There are no small nations which are only spectators, of a drama, as the history of drama. Because sometimes they think that it is impossible to, for example, to do something very fast, that China will, accept Tibet or something like that. Yes, but I think that even very small action is very important. And I think even every friendship is very important. And I sincerely hope that maybe not 8th, but 10th convent will be held in Tibet. I hope that we will meet in Tibet and we will discuss what nation is need our solidarity, what nation for whom we must express our solidarity. Because I think that as His Holiness said in his video report, this convention is about justice. It's about justice because without justice there is no peace. Without justice there is no normal life. Without justice, and I want to thank you that you teach me what does it mean justice. I want to thank you that you teach me what does it mean to be in the way of non-violence, to be in the way of consistently fight for rights, but not by hating other people, but by being in the right place and not to lose, how to say, being yourself or something like that. So I want to I want to say thank you for Yanis, because I think that Yanis did excellent work, and I think without him this convention would be not so good as it. And of course, for me it was the first time when I can meet people from Tibet Parliament, from Tibet government, and you are very, how to say, you are very fine people. Yeah, and it was a great pleasure to see you. It was a great pleasure to be with you, and it was a great honor to be with you. So I want to finish my speech and to say that be not so serious, be joyful, because as I said yesterday, every day we are closer to the freedom of Tibet. Every day. So today we are closer to the freedom of Tibet than yesterday. And so I think this is the basis for joy. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Navikas. Now I would like to invite the Honorable Lobsang Sangay, Dr. Lobsang Sangay, Prime Minister of Tibet, to address us with few words. Please.
No, it's not an address. I just want to say, a few words of thank you. First of all, Lithuanian Honorable Parliamentarian Andrius Navikas just said what he did in Lithuania. In fact, he wrote a letter to the Foreign Minister of Lithuania to explain how to deal with the press release issued by the Chinese embassy, alleging that our supporters and very honorable and people of high profile in Lithuania spoke at the parliament, at the press conference. The Chinese embassy press release alleged it was hostile and biased, all that. So it's very bold of our honorable member of parliament, not only to take on the Chinese embassy, but also to call on Lithuanian government to take action on this press release issued by the Chinese embassy. But overall, I think the 3 days or the 4 days conference went very well. I know you all have come from, a lot of distance, and despite the calls and pressure from the Chinese government and embassies, you all are here. Please do remember that each of your presence and participation sends a very loud and clear message to the Chinese government that Tibet is still alive, Tibet issue is still strong, and you all are with us. Sometimes some of our friends ask us, oh, we are such a small country, I'm just a single person. What difference does it make? It does a hell of a difference. So your presence here is much, much appreciated. and we are showing it live. Not just exiled Tibetans, inside Tibet also, they are listening. If you follow the comments that Tibetans are making on Tibettv, Facebook, you can clearly see they're inspired, they're encouraged. They really welcome your participation. So when you go back, I know some of you will get a call from Chinese embassy, call for tea and dinner. I think you should honor that. And but then, which means that your presence made a difference. Now, yesterday there was a news in Xinhua News Agency. And the news was, it clearly shows that your presence made a difference. At the Latvian National Library, Chinese embassy organized a movie screening called Deep in Shambhala on 8th of May, just first day of our conference. And invited, they claim, around 200 people came. And the charge d'affaires of the Chinese embassy was there. And they invited a sinologist, China expert from the University of Lithuania, to speak on what's going on. So the fact that we were having conference here, the fact that Chinese embassy had to organize a documentary movie and invite Latvian to come, means we already made the difference. We already sent a notice, Beijing noted it. Yesterday afternoon, we had to go meet someone, and we randomly chose one hotel. It's a Radisson Blu or something. And then at the lobby, we saw a banner. It says, exhibition on Tibet. And then we asked the receptionist, where is the exhibition? They pointed us to a room. We went inside. There were 6 photographs on Tibet and 4 on Uyghur. There was no one attending it. There's no one in that room. No? But they made sure there were 6 photographs. 2 were about past Tibet and 4 about present Tibet. And how beautiful all. So the fact that Chinese embassy is busy organizing exhibitions in different hotels and talks and documentaries in Riga, Latvia, clearly shows that your presence made all the difference, that they had to take note. Not only they had to take note, they had to take action. So it started with the press release in Chinese embassy in Lithuania. It ended with all the events that Chinese embassy is organizing right here in Latvia. So this reminded me of, on the very first day also reminded me, but I thought it was too presumptuous to say that. I think Gandhiji said, first your enemy will ignore you. Then your enemy will laugh at you. Then your enemy will fight with you. Once they start fighting with you, you win. So I think for too long, Chinese government and the leadership ignored us. For too long, they laughed at us. Now they are picking fights with us, you see, with 7WPCT, with all your presence here. So when the fight has begun, so Gandhiji, what he said should come true. They'll fight with you, then you win. So I think our victory is quite close. So be with us a little longer. This declaration sent a message. An action plan will be executed, and we will be stronger down the line because of your presence, because of your support, for which I am very, very grateful. And I want to, because this is organized by the Tibetan Parliament Exile, and being in the executive, I want to thank the Honorable Speaker and Deputy Speaker for the leadership, and the dozen or so members of Parliament who have come, and the former Speaker of the Parliament is also here, who came to Riga to initiate this conference as well. So to all the staff members of the Tibetan Parliament and the volunteers and supporters of Riga and Latvia, and for all of your presence, I just want to say Tashidele, Tujiche, and Juma Jeyung, which means see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sangay. Now I would like to invite the Honorable Acharya Yeshi-Pushk-Stok, Deputy Speaker of Tibetan Parliament in Exile, to address the...
first I think, inform there is a little bit printing mistake in our Riga declaration. So I think this one is not final one. So we will send to you through the email, and then the action plan which you have already got it, that is a final one. So this one is, I think, we due to some printing mistake and some maybe some still there's some typing mistake, the printing and typing mistake, so Michael has told me. So please give it the declaration paper we will send through the email. And now this my duty or my responsibility is to give a word of thanks. And I have a long list to give a word of thanks. First, my sincere gratitude to His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. Last 6 WPCT convention, the blessing of the His Holiness, and for this 7 WPCT, the His Holiness blessing with us through the video message, and also we have a message from the Nancy Pelosi, the Senator John McCain. So I, on behalf of the Tibetan Parliament in Exile, and then our co-host, the Latvian Parliamentarian Tibet Support Group, and in part, and then on behalf of all the delegates, I would like to honor and thanks, giving a blessing and message by the His Holiness and the Nancy Pelosi and John McCain. And secondly, I would like to thanks to the cross-party group for Tibet, a Latvian parliamentarian support for co-hosting the 7 WPCT in Riga, Latvia, with the concerns of the Latvian Parliamentarian Support Group, the Yanis, who is a coordinator, and since the last May 2018, we received a letter from the Yanis through email. The willingness of the parliamentarian groups of the Latvian and then the Tibet supporters. They are ready to organize the 7 WPCT in Riga and Latvia. So since the last May 2018, and on the December, due to the elections of the Latvian Parliament, we were not able to continually to get contact with each other. But then finally, after the election, we got a letter and message from the Latvian parliamentarians and our coordinator, Yanis. The Latvian Parliamentarian Support Group is revived, and now they are get ready to organize the 7 WPCT. So from the December to till the last April, we tried to get contact with the Yanis, and particularly we tried to get contact with our Office of Tibet London, the representative of His Holiness Dalai Lama, Sonam Persila, and our former speaker, the Venerable Khenpo Sonam Tembela. He came also here to visit all the venues, to get a contact with our organizer, and then we finalized to organize the WPCT in Riga in Latvia. We took the matters in the standing committee, the Tibetan Parliament in Exile, and so on the December, after the finalize of the organized this WPCT in Riga, we sent it an invitation through the Office of Tibet, and we were able to organize a 7 WPCT in here Riga in Latvia. So because of the support and help by the co-hosting of our 7 WPCT with the Latvian parliamentarian and the initiator and the ground leveled, the coordinator, the Yanis and his friends. So on behalf of the Tibetan Parliament in Exile and Tibetan in and outside and the delegates, I would like to express thank you so much, the co-organized the 7 WPCT with smoothly and fruitful and successful. Thank you so much. I will also thanks to the honorable members from the cross-country, from the cross-political party. We may be able to organize the 7 WPCT because if the honorable members' presence is not in the gathering or in the convention, it never makes any sense. So therefore, many of our members of the parliament, from the beginning of the WPCT to till the 7 WPCT, really I grateful to on behalf of the Tibetans and the community, Tibetan society, and out and inside Tibetan. And not only the presence, sharing our views and experience, suggestions for the adoptions of the declaration, Riga Declaration and the action plan. Once again, I would like to thank you so much, all our cross-political parties from the various nations on behalf of the Tibetan Parliament in Exile and from the organizing committee. I would also thanks to the panelists, intellectuals, scholars, enlightened us on the basis where is the policies, US-China policy, EU-China policy, China and Tibet's relation, environment, and sharing lots of experience and improvement. And that is very much helpful and useful for the parliamentarians, the intellectuals, the think tanks. Ideas always gives useful to adopt the resolution and declaration. Not only the convention, but even in the parliament. So on behalf of the organizer, all the panelists and speaker and chair, I thank you so much. May I also thanks to the government and the parliamentarians. The numbers of resolutions may able to adopt after the 2012 convention, after the Ottawa Declaration. Unfortunately, it has been long gave. After the 6 years back, we were able to organize a 7 WPCT WPCT. But anyhow, we have got all the documents, the resolutions and statements of the dignitaries for the cause of the Tibet through the Office of the Tibet. We may be able to bring out the background of the book, the updated issues. So on behalf of the organizer, I would like to thank to all the panelists and chair and intellectuals. I can also thanks to the Dr. Lobsang Singh, the Kashak, DIR secretary and staff, particularly the two staffs who are showing a live telecast in the global level, this 7 WPCT convention. On behalf of the organizer, the INPART, Latvian Parliamentary Tibet Support Group, and then Parliament in Exile, the speaker and myself and the parliamentarians. Thank you so much, Dr. Lobsang Singh and CTA administration. Particularly, the Office of Tibet, with their support, with their coordination, we may be able to resume the 7 WPCT. Unfortunately, there's numbers of our Office of Tibet representatives not able to attend this convention. Some have got a problems of the visa, and two of our Office of Tibet, they have their own pre-engagement. Even then, Mr. Song Pinzo was not able to come here because he have already engagement with 1 year back. But the Chile parliamentarian is with us. So I can also thanks to the Office of Tibet, the representative of His Holiness Dalai Lama. Even there's a numbers of pressures from the Chinese government, Chinese embassies. There's a numbers of election is going on. But even then we may able to resume and select it parliamentarians and who show us sympathy and morally. So I can thanks to the representative of His Holiness Dalai Lama and Office of Tibet. May I also thanks to my Tibetan parliamentarians. We are the organizer, but normally since the last 4th WPCT, we try to attend the numbers of the Tibetan parliamentarians delegates. And this 7 WPCT, we have 11 parliamentarians from the Tibetan Parliament in Exile. As an organizer, with their initial help and support to receiving our dignitaries and the registration and regulation and the drafting committee. On behalf of the speaker and myself and in all our delegates, thanks to the Tibetan Parliament in Exile, the members. May I also thanks to the ICT, particularly the Europe-based ICT. Sri Shambhala has initiated with their members, not only these 7 WPCT, but not only the convention, numbers of our Tibetan Parliament delegations visit in the various nations. Their support, financially support, and also this financially support from the CTA. we are very much grateful because since last 2 years, we have been able to receive a numbers of our parliamentarian delegations from the various countries in Dharamsala. Even the Tibetan Parliament delegation able to visit the various nations, meeting with the parliamentarians, think tank, officials, intellectuals, media, and then the Tibet supporter. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to thank to the ICT based in US and based in Europe. Thank you so much. I would like to deeply concerned in for my mind. As I mentioned yesterday, I was able to meeting with the Carl Goshman in 1999. I was meeting with Richard Gere in 1988. And then when I was working with the Tibet movement since from the 97th, interactions with the Professor Michael van Praag. Since from the 94 World Parliamentarian Convention till the 7th WPCT, with the support and help of the Professor Michael van Praag, initially for the drafting declaration and the action plan, and not only the action plan adopting of the declaration, which books we bring out in front of the convention, the background materials. I think this is the reliable background books whosoever can use. Last 550 meeting, we were able to meet in Dharamsala, and we requested Michael, please to help for this document, the compilation and editing. Through the email, we engage with the Michael day to day, and finally we were able to bring the background materials. And of course, I also thanks to the adopting committee, especially the Christ who speak Tibetans fluently, long experience. I met the first time in this convention, but really Tibetan language is very fluently, and then for the adopting the materials, doing a very fast. So on behalf of the organizer and Tibetan community, I would like to thanks to both of all the Tibetan Parliament in exile, and then the Tibetan community. And Michael van Praag, thank you so much for your helping for the last more than I can say 60 years. Thank you so much. I can also thanks to the owner of the manager and the staffs of the hotel park. Though we are paying, but their support and their help, and they are very simple, they are very dedicated. Even in the convention hall, the director in charge, and then our interpreter. I saw people are very simple, very dedicated, very sincere. And our volunteers, since the May 3rd, we reached here on May 3rd. until today, with their help and their support, we may, because he has no office of Tibet, there's a no Tibet society, only the few numbers of the Tibet supporters. There's no Tibetan community, large Tibetan community. We may be able to bring the office staffs of the Dhamsala, the Kelsangla and Chunyila and Seden Kelsangla, and the two staffs we try to ask the office of Tibet through the Kashak, through the Dr. Lobsang Singhi, Lekshila and Sonamla. But teamwork, number is not necessary, but teamwork is very important. With their help and support, we may be able to timely to resume the meeting and the gathering, each and every, minutes to minutes. So I can, on behalf of the speaker and myself, thank you all my staffs and the hotel and the convention's staffs. Finally, I will request, now we already adopt the declaration, we already adopt the action plan, and this convention, compared to the last 6 conventions, will little bit change the motive of the Parliamentarian Convention. Very few lectures and talk. The most, I think, important, we feel it that parliamentarians do work in the parliament. How to raise the Tibet issue, how to adopt the Tibet issues in their own parliament, how to mobilize the Tibet's issue in the different platform. Because recently I was in London, the Office of Tibet initiate. We met with many of the parliamentarians, the Scottish parliamentarians and the UK parliamentarians, officials. So therefore, we need more sharing ideas and suggestions from the parliamentarians. So then easy to adopt the declaration and easy to adopt the action plan. So now, after this convention, after the lunch, everyone is going back. And we hope once you will get the declaration and action plan in your hand through the email, please do carry on. And the Office of Tibet and the Tibet Society also needs to more active. I am always keep saying for the last 60 years, 190 countries, but we have a very more than 30 to 40 countries parliamentary support group. We need to increase. We need more support and constructive support. And finally, the dialogue, to resume the dialogue, to resolve the negotiation, the Tibet issue is most important. I am always keep saying Tibet issue is not only the underlying but the human rights and the environment. So therefore, with these my humble words, my request on behalf of the Tibetan community, please to carry on and please to visit once again in Dharamsala to get more interactions with the Tibetan leaders, Tibetan community. And we hope to resume the dialogue after this convention. It will be actively to mobilize and we will be able to get back with His Holiness. This is the 3rd generations who are leading Tibetan community in and outside. The first generations, those who came from the 1959, more or less, no more. The second generation has become over the 60 years. And in and outside today, like us, born in India, never seen nation, never seen our land, but because of His Holiness, because of your support, we may be able to carry on the Tibet movement. So, with this, my request and appeal, thank you so much, our today's chief guest, and then especially we request the master of ceremony. And once again, I would like to thanks to the Yanis and his team. They work day and night, arranging the car, taxi, the media, booking the hotel and everything. I hope if there is inconvenience in between the last 3 days, I will apologize. And once again, on behalf of the Tibetan Parliament in Exile and Tibetan community, thank you so much. Thank you, Tashidile.
Dear guests, honorable members, brothers and sisters, I was honored to play this role as Master of Ceremony for the 7th WPCT Convention. On the 6th of May, I knew nothing about Tibet, frankly speaking. I was a guest in the house of Yanis when Yanis asked me to be the Master of Ceremony, and I was a bit reluctant, but now I want to thank you for educating me. And you are most welcome in Latvia, your second home, and we'll be always happy to see you here, because I'm going to retire in Latvia. I wish also to thank Yanis, the translators, the photographers, and everybody who worked, the waiters, okay? And I wish you give a big hand of applause for Yanis for this organization. Believe me, he drove me crazy. He drove me crazy, you know, in the house. Everything, Tibet, Tibet, Tibet. I say, you, okay. After I arrived, I didn't have a tie. He said, no, you must put the bow. My bow. He gave me his bow to speak. Okay. Now, finally, I would like to announce the closing of the 7th WPCT Convention and wish you safe return and safe journey back to your homes.
Hello everybody. Sorry, by those days my bow tie fly. So I wanna say thank you from our team, from our organization, and like first, please big applause to the host of this building. Please, Ms. Dace. Please, please. She worked a lot, she helped a lot, and she did more than she should. We have so many people from this building who work, but we will bring all gifts. We have a lot of gifts to them later. And now, please, all translators. Sometimes you think it's very easy, and from beginning I think we need only 2 translators, but now we see how hard job is. Thank you. And please, our technical guy who take care about all that technical stuff what we have here. As I said, our team and those who help so many, the stage is too small, but they will get their blessing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, you are invited to lunch now, please.